Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus. IP&E Fueling Excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Ahead on primetime, marshals attempt to serve Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio a summons and complaint relative to the gun-grabbing incident in Tumon. Plus, with day 3 on the job, new public auditor BJ Cruz is making some tough decisions. And exercise Valiant Shield is in full swing. Carmen Victoria Cholahi takes us to Anderson Air Force Base for the story.
Today and good evening.
Well, he's officially been served. Monday afternoon, Superior Court marshals had a very special delivery for Adelu. Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio, however, wasn't there. Officials made another stop immediately after, this time to Tenorio's attorney's office to hand-deliver his summons for him to appear, as well as the complaint listing the charges against him.
Red-faced and reeking of alcohol, court documents detail what officers at the scene had to say about the controversial gun grab incident. Here's more from that complaint.
How many times did Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio grab a gun off an on-duty cop? Depends who you ask. He says,
well, what happened was and met the individual officers and the firemen and, thanked them again for their service. I saw the firearm. I lifted it from the holster. He turned around, gave it back to him. And then, my concern was for the condition and how it was able to come out of the holster. So it wasn't something where it was, behind his back on the second and the third attempt. I wanted to see why.
GPD Sergeant Carl J. Cruz, as well as other officers on scene, report otherwise. Sergeant Cruz counting not 1, not 2, but 6 attempts at his gun, which he reports was, quote, properly holstered at his side, end quote. According to Sergeant Cruz, whose report is detailed in a 10-page complaint against Tenorio filed on Monday, the cop went on the defense when he felt someone tugging his holster from behind. Sergeant Cruz says he triggered the lock and elbowed the perpetrator in the chest, but he was surprised to see Tenorio behind him, prompting him to release his grip. The LT then took grip of the firearm, dangling it in the direction of the officers while stating, quote, "It's that easy. It's that easy. I'm the public safety chairman," end quote. The gun was hot. So was this situation. Sergeant Cruz reporting he had to block the LT by his wrist and push him to create distance. Another officer reportedly having to catch the LT from falling as he stated, quote, "Oh, it's like that," end quote. Sergeant Cruz saying, quote, "Yes, it's like that," before he left in his official vehicle. Apparently, that's when he phoned the Chief of Police, J.I. Cruz. A LT staffer reporting hearing bits of that conversation. The LT stating, quote, "What if somebody was to grab that gun? Can you imagine people's intention?" End quote. Though not present at the time, Lieutenant Donald Flickinger supports Sergeant Cruz's actions, that he acted in a professional manner while defending himself. Quote, "If this incident had involved any other citizen on the street and not a high-ranking government official, the outcome would have been much different, possibly resulting in an arrest and confinement, or worst-case scenario, a use of deadly force issue," end quote. Tenorio is charged with reckless conduct firearm, obstructing government function, and official misconduct, all as misdemeanors. He's been summoned to appear in court on October 3rd. The LT's office late today issued the following statement, quote, "I am 100% confident that the courts will find me completely innocent and reaffirm that my actions were in the interest of public safety. I will clear my name of this unfortunate, politically motivated attack, but not before these baseless accusations have tarnished this election season. Tony Atta and I are moving forward to serve the people of Guam the next 4 years," end quote. Rewind back to July's interview with KUAM.
This is really not about the campaign. This is about me taking responsibility for my individual actions. And I did it for the right reasons, done in the wrong way, but the intent was to make sure that the public safety. This is not about the election. This is about me, Ray Tenorio, owning up. When we do something wrong, when we do something right, we should take credit either way. This is fully my responsibility, and I own up to it.
Meanwhile, the lieutenant governor in our interview said he only drank 2 or 3 beers. His staffer who was with him that night said he gave him 4 beers. Additionally, when investigators went to the LT's office to record and interview him, the LT refused, quote, "At an impasse, investigators departed without conducting any further interview with the lieutenant governor," end quote.
Well, reacting to today's summons and complaint, the Republican Party of Guam said it's an unfortunate situation and have every confidence the Lieutenant Governor will appear before the court and answer to the complaint appropriately. Well, now to more on those viral riot videos circulated all over social media last week. This latest one we showed you is of a fight at the White Laundromat in Dededo. It happened last Thursday. Authorities say the four caught on camera attacked another man, leaving him with head injuries. Investigators using the images to help them catch the suspects involved. 3 people, including a 16-year-old boy, are now facing criminal charges. 19-year-old Gildner Phillip, 20-year-old Myson Phillip, and 20-year-old Issa Tamoti are charged with aggravated assault, rioting, assault, disorderly conduct, and jurisdiction over an adult. The teen was taken to DYA and charged with aggravated assault, rioting, disorderly conduct, and underage drinking. No word if more arrests could be made. Police say they also have leads in the fight recorded at the Again Shopping Center parking lot. Still, no arrests have been made in that incident.
A grand jury has indicted Brian Kevin Cruz. The man arrested after a viral video depicted him shoving a woman into a car. Cruz faces 17 charges, including first-degree criminal sexual conduct, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, third-degree criminal sexual conduct, kidnapping, aggravated assault, family violence, felonious restraint, possession of a Schedule II controlled substance, and eluding a police officer. The woman, court documents state, was found badly beaten a day later. She told police she was hit approximately 30 times and that she was in and out of consciousness. Cruz told police he was aware of the video, which is why he ditched the suspect car.
A U.S. Postal Service staffer is busted with stealing mail. According to his plea agreement, George Stephen Anthony Dominguez worked as a city carrier assistant 1 when he stole a Kik Messenger contact card from a parcel intended for a woman living on Naval Base Guam. Back in March, he reportedly used his cell phone to send the woman messages, including a picture of his penis. Court filings state he confessed to stealing the card and sending the woman his picture because he thought she was pretty. Dominguez faces up to 5 years in jail. His next court appearance, September 21st.
Though the times and locations will be kept secret, the Archdiocese of Agana confirms they are participating in mediation talks starting today through Friday. As reported, over 180 clergy sexual abuse lawsuits have been filed to date. Named defendants include priests, Capuchin brothers, and other members of the Archdiocese of Agana, including Catholic school staffers. In a joint status hearing held last week, all parties reported being optimistic about settlement out of court. A return hearing is set for November 8th. While the new public auditor is making some tough decisions during his first week in office, the former legislative speaker announced today that layoffs will be made at the Guam OPA.
That's right, Chris. He says he's independently moving forward on what he calls a fiscal realignment plan. The newly elected public auditor defending that he is trying to set an example for the rest of Guam. This move comes after many government agencies were left having to take a 10% cut to their FY 2019 budget.
Lean budget.
Day 3 on the job.
Money is going to be very hard in the next year.
Public Auditor BJ Cruz starting his new gig by holding his office accountable.
I've given notice to 2 probationary employees and 3 unclassified employees that their services will no longer be needed.
5 of 18 employees are being let go. The layoffs set to take effect in less than a month at the start of the new fiscal year.
I made the decision that the Office of Public Accountability would lead by example.
The reason? They just can't afford to keep them on board. The savings by getting rid of them is about $450,000, but Cruz says this could bring negative impacts on operations.
Major, because the 3 unclassified are the 3 top individuals in this office. But with that savings, I also have to take into account rent, my administrative law judges, other fixed costs of the office. So the difference is maybe less than $100,000.
The former public auditor Doris Flores Brooks had made a plea to the legislature for a $400,000 increase or 30% more to its budget. That was denied, and senators instead approved a reduction for the Guam OPA by about $120,000.
The total budget for the office is $1.2 million. Personnel cost alone for the office is $1.3. That doesn't even include the rent and other fixed costs.
The employees have each been informed.
They knew that when it was not granted and it, in fact, was cut by another $120,000, that things had to happen in order for this office to be the Office of Public Accountability.
And Cruz hopes the 5 workers will remain on the job for the next few weeks as they transition out. He will monitor how Guam OPA operates the remainder of this year with the cutbacks before determining their next move.
Now that most of the campaign signs are going back up, you might have seen something new out on the side of the road.
Yeah, signs calling to write in a Democratic gubernatorial team that failed to get enough votes to advance to the general. Chris Barnett reports.
Campaign signs for an Ugan Limtiaco general election write-in campaign popping up just days after the GEC certified the Lou and Josh team as official winners of the Democratic gubernatorial primary election. Guamanians for Fair Government paid for the signs, according to the group's head, Andre Bainum. Bainum told KUAM News about 20 signs were placed at various locations around Guam. Guamanians for Fair Government and Guam Citizens for Public Accountability are behind the Ugan Limtiaco write-in campaign, as Senator Frank Ugan and attorney Alicia Limtiaco have not officially endorsed it. The team has also not repudiated the campaign either, as they pledged they would do when they signed the Democratic Party Unity Pledge before the election. In a release today, the Ugan Limtiaco team said Ugan has met with former Democratic Party chairs Mike Phillips, Pilar Lujan, and Tony Charfris in an effort to get advice on how to move forward. Ugan is also meeting with Congresswoman Madeline Berdallo this week. Today, KUAM News confirms Ugan has had separate meetings with 3 of his Democratic primary election gubernatorial rivals: former Governor Carl Gutierrez, Lou Leon Guerrero, and Senator Dennis Rodriguez. We happened upon Ugan and Rodriguez having a drink at this Hagatna establishment. While Ugan declined to comment on camera, Rodriguez was able to give us more info about the meeting.
Just had coffee. He invited me for coffee and basically asked me for support.
Rodriguez wouldn't say what Ugan needed his support for, but he wouldn't deny the two discussed a way forward now that the GEC has officially certified Lou and Josh primary election winners.
Did Senator Ugan ask you to run with him in a write-in campaign?
We've talked about all the different types of options and ideas on the table. And so again, I'll leave those kind of questions to him for him to answer.
Ugan Limtiaco had told KUAM News they would reach a decision about a write-in candidacy last week. However, no announcement was made, presumably because of Typhoon Mangkhut's passage. Today, the Ugan Limtiaco team told KUAM News a write-in campaign is not off the table, but it's not on the table right now. Rodriguez, who along with running mate David Cruz finished last in the primary election, has not publicly endorsed Lou and Josh. His campaign, though, in a release to the media, did say the team would support the winners of the primary. But today, Rodriguez didn't seem too clear on which Democrat he would be willing to get behind.
I would definitely vote Democrat in the general election.
Which Democrat?
Be a Democrat.
For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Well, it's that time again to bring you more candidates who will be making their way to the general election this November. Joining me on D18 tonight will be Democratic senatorial candidate Adolfo Palacios and Republican senatorial candidate Harold Cruz. It's your chance to interact with the candidates. Watch our live stream on Facebook and post your questions in the comment section so we can get it to them. Then join us on the after party as we bring you Sanjay Sharma, Marcel Johnson, and Juan Carlos Benitez, our analysts in studio, to talk everything election and about how tonight's candidates did on the show. D18 tonight's coming up right after primetime.
Stick around for more news here on Primetime.
You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens, it's a beautiful day. We rely on the people we trust, it's a beautiful, who we can always count on. And the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Rely on CalBoost Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need wherever you are. GovGuam employees, retirees, and survivors. Enroll today.
Win adventure in the IT&E Explore Your World Million Mile Giveaway. Every week from July 16 to November 2nd, we're giving away 60,000 United Mileage Plus miles to IT&E postpaid and prepaid subscribers. Imagine where you could go. Go on a weekend getaway to the Philippines. Enjoy fresh sushi in Japan. Itadakimasu. Sip a latte at a cafe in Paris. Or use your miles for shopping and other rewards. It's your world. Explore it.
Today and welcome back. You might have spotted more military men and women walking our streets. They were actually visiting the island as part of Valiant Shield.
That's right. This military exercise is held once every 2 years. The event happening as the island is in typhoon recovery mode. Carmen Talahi has more from Anderson Air Force Base.
Keep your eyes to the skies. It's officially the first day of the 7th Valiant Shield exercise. This year, over 15,000 personnel from the U.S. Navy, Air Force, Army, and Marine Corps are training alongside aircraft carrier USS Reagan, 15 surface ships, and more than 160 aircrafts at Anderson Air Force Base.
The focus for Valiant Shield is the integration of joint training in a blue water environment. This is the first Valiant Shield where we'll have participation by the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. So we are very excited to have the Marine Corps here.
Rear Admiral Daniel Dwyer, exercise director, remembers being a participant during the first Valiant Shield exercise back in 2006. But with such a large-scale operation in the Mariana Islands, including live firing at designated ranges, Rear Admiral Dwyer asserts the military follows tough environmental protocol.
Whether it's for marine mammals or pollution at sea or ashore, we are very, very strict in the requirements. We have the latest marine mammal avoidance software on all of our ships at sea.
The goal? To test the latest tech and be ready for combat. In fact, even testing skills while on island during Typhoon Mangkhut. Colonel Mark Palmer says visiting military responded.
So some of the Valiant Shield participants from First MAW were actually out on Tinian, about 51, and they helped out with the post-storm recovery efforts.
Groups of Marines, the Coast Guard, and others even traveled to hard-hit Rota, says Joint Region Marianas Public Affairs Officer Lieutenant Ian McConaughey. Joining recovery efforts led by FEMA, delivering canned goods, water, and helping civilians clean.
A lot of debris clearing was done, some civil engineering type stuff, making sure the roads are clear. It's our island community too.
Valiant Shield operations will continue all week long. Officials hopeful the 15,000 personnel will have a chance to disembark and visit Guam. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Trilahi.
Typhoon Mangkhut may have left a mess in its path for us here in the Marianas, but it's now a deadly storm after lashing the Philippines with strong winds before barreling into southern China on Sunday. This is video in Hong Kong after scaffolding was ripped off the side of a building, the storm bringing significant damage and flooding there. It threatened to be the strongest typhoon to hit Hong Kong in nearly 2 decades. Millions of people had to be evacuated, at least 2 deaths reported in southern China, and more than 60 killed in the Philippines. Officials fear more buried in a landslide out there.
And here at home, various government of Guam agencies are working on compiling a report of preliminary damage assessments on damages incurred from Typhoon Mangkhut. According to Guam Fire Department's acting fire chief Joey St. Nicholas, his agency fared pretty well despite one ambulance receiving damage to one of its doors.
We have a few stations that had some water come in into our, especially our EMS supply room, so that kind of got flooded. Couple of electrical units probably were affected by the power outage.
It was last week that Governor DeCalvo transmitted a letter to President Donald Trump highlighting his intention to request a major disaster declaration for Guam. Calvo noted that the PDAs from all agencies would serve as supporting documents.
We did our initial damage assessment. We submitted that to the Office of Civil Defense through our RAC, and we continue to dig deeper into the details as far as the cost.
It's also worth noting that operations continue throughout Mangkhut, with GFD units responding to 34 calls. 28 of those calls were EMS related, with 4 being injuries attributed to slips, trips, falls, or flying debris, and 4 structure fires caused by electrical issues, and 1 due to a candle being left unattended.
Portable gas cookers, butane cans, assorted paper products, machetes, flashlights, batteries, trash bags, and cans of Spam are on their way to Rota for Typhoon Mangkhut relief efforts. The donation comes from Wyndham Garden Guam, Days Inn Guam, and Grand Plaza Hotel. Here's Valerie Blas. She's with Century Properties.
We saw the WhatsApp go out on Thursday, and we decided, you know what, we want to help out our brothers and sisters in Rota. So we decided to go ahead and do a drive. Actually, everything you see here was purchased by the companies, our 3 properties, as well as donations from our employees.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
The Guam Fire Department is assisting in collection efforts. Acting Fire Chief Joyce Nicholas says the Coast Guard and Cabras Marine will take these much-needed supplies to Rota at no cost. If you would like to make a donation, you can call the Tumuning Fire Station. The number is, or you can call 987-1355.
In a move to help fast-track highly anticipated next-generation wireless technology here, ITNE is partnering with Korean telecommunications giant SK Telecom. Nestor Lacanto reports.
Jim Ollerking.
ITNE President and CEO James Ollerking announced the move in a news conference Monday. He says as 5G technology gets more complex, there is synergy in partnering with South Korea's largest carrier.
Higher data speeds, lower costs for service, and their leading-edge technology rollouts will allow us to bring it into Guam and the CNMI much quicker than we could have done by ourselves.
He says next-generation technology will mean even faster data speeds to accommodate future innovations in media, gaming, and the Internet of Things.
What we see is just continued growth in individual data consumption, and this just positions us to be able to address whatever the future requirements are going to be.
For SK Telecom, they see an opportunity in the huge growth in Korean tourism to Guam. The tie-up with ITNE means they can offer their customers who visit here much more cost-effective roaming packages. SK is now the second largest shareholder in ITNE after the Philippine-based Delgado family with an investment of some $33 million.
It buys them a minority position within the company and a seat on the board of directors. And again, this is a long-term partnership that we're establishing with them.
Ollerking says the deal with a South Korean-based company did not require FCC regulatory approval. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lacanto.
Sports is next, but first, weather.
How easy is it to earn reward points using the Alpha Plus app? Here, let me show you. Simply register with the all-new Alpha Plus app and earn reward points while making purchases at your favorite stores you already shop at. Just present the app to any authorized representative to earn your points. Now that was easy. Alpha Plus, make every day a plus.
Half a day, hungry drivers. Are you spending more time on the road? Shell has teamed up with Wendy's so you can buy fuel and eat free. Just fuel up 7 gallons at any Shell station and get a coupon for a Wendy's cheeseburger or chicken nuggets. Or use 2 coupons to redeem a Wendy's cheeseburger meal with fries and a drink. Fuel up at Shell today because this deal won't last long. Quality service, fuel and food from Shell and Wendy's.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. I'll get you NFL scores and highlights in just a bit. But first off, some local sports for you. Check it out. The Strides for the Cure 2K and 5K run will take place Saturday, October 6th. Showtime is at 5:15 in the morning. Go time scheduled for 6 a.m. for the 5K, 6:10 a.m. for the 2K. The run will be taking place at the Chamorro Village Festival Huts. Entry fee is $15 per person, $48 for a group of 4, or $20 on race day. You can register at Guam Cancer Care, Hornet Sports, DNA Evolution, Run Guam, or online at strides2018.eventbrite.com. Event t-shirts, race belt, and swag bag to the first 2,000 registrants who claim during packet pickup. Bring your Strides race bib to the Outrigger Guam Beach Hotel lobby on September 20th, 21st, 27th, and 28th, or October 3rd and 4th from 4 to 8 p.m. to claim. The United Airlines 13th annual plane pool event has been rescheduled to Saturday, October 13th in consideration of ongoing recovery efforts in the community after Typhoon Mangkhut. Sam Shinahara, Managing Director of Airport Operations for Asia Pacific, said many of the plane pool event team consists of first responders, hotels, government agencies, and businesses that play important roles in our island's recovery efforts. Out of consideration for them and our community, plane pool teams responded favorably to moving the event to a later date. Shinahara added, "We will reopen registration for teams that are interested in participating. There are a few slots available. Interested teams can call 635-1126 or send an email to planepool@rimsguam.com to request registration packets." All right, let's get right into it now for your NFL highlights. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes setting some records today. Mahomes with the touchdown pass to Travis Kelce, one of his 2 on the day. Kelce 7 receptions for 109 yards, getting his